Okay, so I guarantee by the end of this video, you guys are going to become much better at having conversations with literally anybody, because I'm going to talk about the three biggest conversation killers, for lack of better words, that I see and I hear and I deal with when I talk to people. These are something that, especially the one of them that I'm going to talk about, I will preach on until I die. They are literally like, when you talk to somebody, the first one I'm going to talk about, when somebody does this to you, it really shows, like, you're going to feel like they just don't care. Like, they really, like, they might like you, but if they talk like this, or if you talk like this, you're going to show the other person that you're just really not putting any effort in the conversation. And it's very difficult to have a conversation with somebody that's doing any one of these threes, because you're going to feel like they don't care, or they don't like you. It really comes down to that. And people want to talk to people that they feel a connection with, that they want to talk to people that they feel like they get along with. So that's why I said, I guarantee at the end of this video, you're going to be able to have better conversations with people, because I'm going to tell you what to avoid, and then I'm going to address what you should do instead during each one of these. So I got my notes in front of me, and I'm going to go through all three of them. So before I get into the video, if you do like what you see, please give the video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that, man. Brand new channel. You would help promote this video into YouTube's algorithm. Okay, number one. And dude, this is the one I'm fucking talking about. When you ask somebody a question, now, admittedly, depending on the question, this could influence their response. But if you ask somebody, what do you do for fun? That can give you a very short response. So that's what I mean. Number one is going to be one-word answers, or very short, couple word answers, okay? They're not expanding or elaborating on what you're asking. So if you ask somebody, for example, where are you from? What do you do for fun? Like all these very interview questions, which you have to ask to just to further a conversation. So there's nothing wrong with that. But instead of saying, hey, what do you do for fun? You could say, hey, what do you do? What do you enjoy doing in your free time that when you do it, you really just lose track of time? That would be a better way to elicit a more emotional response. Something that when you ask them about that, they might give you a very generic and a very short answer up front, like I'm saying, but then when you ask them what they like about that, then they can give you a very elaborate response. So the first mistake is going to be when you ask somebody a question, or if they ask you a question, if you give them one-word answers or a couple sentence answers. And so the reason why this is a conversation killer is because when somebody gives you a very short answer, you don't have enough information to be able to work with that. Like if they explain, if they answer, if you ask me, what do I enjoy about filming YouTube videos? And if I just say, I don't know, I get to help people. Okay, cool. Well, what do you enjoy about helping people? So I would have to put a lot of effort into continuing that conversation. It's not gonna, if you're really good at having conversations like I am, that might not be a big of a deal. But even then, I'm telling you right now that somebody that's extremely good at conversating with people, I myself cannot maintain a conversation with somebody that's just not willing to talk to me. If you're giving me a couple word responses or a single word response, I'm gonna feel like you just don't fucking care. I've been in several conversations like that with people all of the time, actually. And dude, it's miserable, man. And then I'll have conversations with people and they just they're effortless. Like the girl I'm texting right now, I can text her and she's very elaborate when she talks. And in person, she's the same way. It's so enjoyable, okay? So that's going to be the first one. So the solution to this is, if you are asked a question, you should provide, if you can, okay, like I said, depending on the question asked. If it's a yes or no type question, you might not be able to give a very elaborate response. If you ask them something like that, they might not be able to give you a elaborate response. So that's why I said, if you can, offer the person, explain your answer, give them the answer, but then explain it. Give them something that they can work with, because the more that comes out of your mouth, the more somebody has to ask you the next question to further continue the conversation. And then if you're talking to somebody and you just keep blabbing, they're going to feel like you actually want to talk to them. And talking to somebody like that, it's very easy and it's very fun. And if you ask them a question, remember, depending on the question that you ask, you might have to know how to get them to expand. So that's number one, is very short responses. Number two is going to be talking only about yourself. So if you're a man right now going on a date with a girl, this is the biggest fucking red flag that you can do. Okay, when you're a guy right now, this is Dating Mitchell coming out. When you're a guy right now, when you talk to a girl about yourself, what you're doing is what's it? I think you're seeking validation is what you're doing, because like you're telling her like, oh, I've got this, I live in a 2,400 square foot house, I've got a brand new Mercedes Benz, I make a fuck ton of money, I'm so good at what I do. Like you're bragging, you're trying to get her to like you. And the same thing applies when you talk to somebody else. When you're talking to somebody and all they're doing is talking about themselves, at some point you're gonna be like, dude, I don't care anymore. Like I get it, you keep talking about yourself, like you think highly of yourself, but you've never asked me a question about myself. Like you're showing me that you don't want to get to know me. That's what you're doing here. And I brought up the man to woman interaction just because my main channel, I help men understand women and have better relationships, and that's very important. But you know, if you're only talking about yourself, whether you're a guy or a girl, I think girls can get away with this more than men can. But if you want to create a connection with anybody and you want to continue a conversation, you should always ask the other person about themselves. So it's like, why are you even talking to somebody in the first place if you only want to talk about yourself? That's no fun. I don't want to continue talking to somebody that only wants to talk about themselves. Now, if I'm talking, like if I'm on a date with a girl, I'm leading the conversation, then obviously for the most part, I just want her to talk about herself because I want to get to know her, and that's going to make her feel like I care. So when I talk to people, I want them to talk about themselves, yes. But if someone likes you and they want to get to know you, they will always ask you a question about yourself in return. So that's why I'm saying if you only talk about yourself, you're showing the person that you don't fucking care about them. And if they only talk about themselves, they're showing you that they don't care about you. They don't want to get to know you. So what you should do is, like I said, ask them questions. And if they're talking, pay attention to if they're asking you questions. And then the last one I want to talk about, guys, is asking too many questions without sharing. So I've got a couple videos on being relatable and how that builds connection, because people want to associate with people that they have something in common with. So I say that the quote opposites attract is a total lie. Like attracts like. When you're talking to somebody and you guys, for example, both play video games, you have something in common. You have something that you guys can reference to each other. You guys are going to understand the video games you're playing. You're going to understand each other when it comes to what you guys enjoy about games. You guys are going to connect on a deeper level because you already have something in common, such as playing video games. If you have two girls talking and they both did cheerleading, well, now they have something in common. Now they can talk about their time when it came to cheerleading, and because they both had experience with cheerleading, they have something that they can bond over that's going to bring them closer. So that's what I mean is when you're asking somebody questions, if you ask somebody a question and they give you an answer, this is what you should do. If you're able to relate to that in some way, shape, or form, it is perfectly acceptable to relate to that. Give them, hey, actually, listen, I know you just said that, but I've got a short story about that real fast. Tell them the story and then move on to the next question. So whatever you do when it comes to talking to people, we want to be relatable, because again, if you are relatable when you're talking to somebody, well, you're showing them, like you're demonstrating to them that you guys have things in common, but you're also giving them something that they can ask you about. So that's why asking them too many questions without being relatable can kill the conversation, because you're going to show the person that you guys don't really have anything in common. And that's just on a subconscious level, really, like the conversation, it might not elicit a second interaction is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that, like, if the conversation went well, you guys might see each other, but if you don't have anything in common, what are the chances that you guys are going to keep talking? Probably not. Like, if that's the case, then you guys might be acquaintances. Like, I know a lot of people at the gym around the city. I see them, I might say hi, I might catch up on some like BS real fast, and then that's it. But if you're relatable, when you guys, like, if you guys both, let's say, like, you guys both enjoy lifting, but you guys work out at two completely different gyms, or you guys work out at two different times. The next time you guys see each other, you can say, "Hey, man, you're looking good, bro. You been doing anything different in the gym, or are you still doing the same thing?" You can just have like a basic conversation about like lifting weights, or if that's the case, if you guys like I take testosterone, if you guys are into powerlifting or bodybuilding, or you just want to talk about steroids, you can talk about steroids. If you want to talk about taking peptides or trying to look better or different workouts, you can talk about that because you guys both work out, you guys both have things in common. And that's what I mean is like when you guys have things in common and you're able to relate to them in some way, shape, or form, you guys can always branch off to different subjects into the conversation. And that way you also have some, if you guys branch off and you guys are still talking about things that you like, you guys are going to keep the conversation going. But by the end of that, you guys are going to like each other even more because you guys both see like, holy shit, we both like the same thing. So that's what I mean. Like if you're asking somebody too many questions without being relatable, they're not going to feel like you guys have anything in common. And fuck, you might not feel like you guys have anything in common either. Like it's terrible talking to somebody where you literally can't relate to them in any way, shape, or form. Now, am I saying like you're going to relate to everybody that you talk to? No, not. I would say you wouldn't relate to most people. But when you do talk to somebody that you really like, if you can relate to them in some way, shape, or form, then I would go ahead and find a way to relate to them, okay? So that's going to be the video, guys, on the 3 biggest conversation killers and then kind of what to do instead on how to always have, like, better and longer lasting conversations, how to make people like you more. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, thumbs up, and or subscribe. And hey, man, if I'm missing something else, bro. And then, hey, if you enjoyed this video, man, if you want to continue your social skills and get better at that, check this one out right here, man. You're going to love that one as well. And guys, I'll see you in the next one.